Hi, Generation In Between. We are back, and we're not only recording today for your audio listening pleasure, we are now on YouTube. So we will have video of this episode up. We look glamorous and lovely as always.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we don't have our special little intro quirky sentences because, y'all, it has been a week. Oh,
no, you're good.
Uh-oh.
Continue.
Are we good? Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a week. I am currently drinking coffee from Katie's Bah Humbug mug because,
Bah humbug.
an election happened. And obviously, y'all know where we stand politically because of the comments we've said on this podcast. We won't go into the weeds of that because it doesn't matter. But we are feeling our feels.
Yes.
And we're exhausted. And we're also doing rehearsals, which are actually going well.
They're going great.
But it's a lot of brain space, a lot of feelings and things. So we're doing something different today.
Yes.
Which I think I might end up really fucking regretting.
And there's the E right at the start.
Well, I have to put the E because I don't want my child listening to this one. Because, guys, what we are doing today, I had this bright idea. When I came across some old stuff not that long ago, I found my old diary and some old writings.
So this is amazing, first of all. I can physically see some of them, which we will show on YouTube. So even if you don't listen to us on YouTube, you have to find this one, Deep Thoughts from the 90's Teen. That's the name of it. So you can see some of these illustrations. We'll have pictures too.
Yeah.
But set the scene, like, what age were you, like, when these things were written?
Okay. So what I'm going to tell you guys is I am going to read samples from my diary.
Yes.
And some poetry that I used to write on a typewriter, which we'll get more into that. You guys, I was really weird. Okay. We know this. I still am weird. I had a lot going on. Like, I did not have the smoothest childhood. I had a lot happening. And I'll get more into the weeds with this in a little bit. But most of this that I have in my hands is middle school, high school era, except for one piece that I had to bring that I think I was probably in 4th or 5th grade. How old's Tegan?
4th grade.
Yeah, I think I was around Tegan's age when I wrote this.
Awesome.
But I used to love writing. And I would get so excited when we had creative writing assignments in class. And this one, I know I wrote for something, but I think I wrote it again so I could keep it. How I still have this, guys, I don't know, because I was in 4th or 5th grade in 89, 90.
Well, I think it's hard for people to keep track of those things. I know I've mentioned, so the reason I won't be reading from diaries and reading these things is because, as I've mentioned on a zillion episodes, at least, all of my stuff's at my parents in Indiana, and I did go there recently and found like a certain number of things, but there were only so many days I was there, and I was helping with my mom who has Alzheimer's disease. But I know there's a box of kind of these writings from elementary. I also have some diaries this era, so we'll just have to do a follow-up.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
when
yeah.
that
It's
happens.
going to be Katie's turn. Don't worry.
But I was going to say, it's like hard to keep track of this stuff anyway. But also, your family went through Hurricane Katrina.
Well, interestingly enough, not only did we go through Hurricane Katrina, when I was in high school, we also had a massive flood in our house. It wasn't a hurricane. It wasn't a tropical storm. It was just a freak rain shower. We got so much rain in 24 hours. It was massive flooding.
Wow.
So we had, several feet of water in my house. So we lost a lot of stuff then. Obviously, there was a lot lost in Katrina. But ironically, a lot of stuff that I thought was ruined was actually in a storage unit that my parents had that was fine, that made it through Katrina unharmed.
Wow.
Which
That's amazing.
Weather is weird, right? Because like their house they were staying in had like 5 feet of water. One house was like demolished. They owned a couple houses at the time that they were in the process of selling. But a lot of stuff was in storage and everything in storage was fine.
Wow.
It's weird. So anyway, but I didn't know that I had a lot of this stuff for years after Katrina. And a few years back, I've shared this story before, but I'll just give a little short version. A few years back, we went to my hometown, to my mom and stepdad's house for Thanksgiving. And my parents have lots of things, everybody. If you have older parents, sometimes they hold on to things. I'm going to say my mom is a light hoarder. She probably won't like that I said that, but it's true. Anyway, they had several storage units and they were cleaning them out. And just so happened, she found these boxes for my sister and I to go through. And she was like, here, this is for y'all. Decide what you want. The rest is going in the trash. And we were like, it was kind of jarring, to be honest with you, to think, because we thought all this stuff was gone. And then all of a sudden it's thrown in your face and it's like, figure out what you want.
Mm.
And it was a lot. And I started going through my diary and I started going through it while I was there and I had to just box it away. And I waited months to go through it because it kept bringing up so much like icky and hard things. I had to just wait until I was in a better mental place to like go through it. So I say all that to say some of this is hilarious and funny and cringy and 90s. Like, so I can't wait to read you my first entry in my diary.
I am so excited. And just so you all know, I have not seen any of it.
No, she has no idea what's here.
No idea.
But some of this stuff is really heavy. And I honestly had to stop going through my diary when I was going through it yesterday. I was like, man, the rest of this, I was in high school and there's a lot going on. I was like, I don't want to revisit that. And I really don't want to talk about it on my podcast.
Right.
So I have things kind of labeled and you ready? Let's just go. We're just going to go. All right. So this first thing I have is a little short story I wrote. I think I wrote it for school. And it even has its own illustrations.
I love it. Okay, wait. So is that Mickey Mouse, a lamp, and a ghost? Is that what I'm looking at?
No, it's a genie.
Oh.
And guys, it's funny. I'll take pictures and I'll put it on our I don't know if you can see it on the camera.
Probably not. Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Little bit. All right, so I'll read you the story and then you can maybe figure out the pictures a little better. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So I want to say this was like, I think I was 4th or 5th grade, probably like Tegan's age.
And I would like to point out it's in cursive.
It is in cursive. And I had pretty good cursive handwriting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
They don't teach it anymore, which
They
is
don't.
so weird. All right, y'all ready? This is a first little short story. So this was about 1989-ish, 90 time frame. And it is called If I Had a Wish. Oh my gosh. You just won't believe what happened to me the other day. I found a genie in a lamp. Oh no, not the kind you see in cartoons. A plain, old, simple lamp. One of those touch lamps.
Oh my God, a touch lamp. Oh, yeah. Like 3 different settings.
Oh, wait.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go.
You know, the kind you touch and the light comes on. Anyway, the way I found this lamp is because my mom bought one for my room. It was really ugly. I turned it on one day and out popped a genie. I mean, just like that. 3 exclamation points.
Yep.
Boy, was I ever surprised. He said, I am Arn. I have no idea what that. You're a magic genie. You may have 3 wishes. 3 wishes? Wow, I said. Well, get on with it, Arn said. Okay, if I had a wish, it would be to have tons of money, I said. Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, it's for some reason I thought that genies would say, Wabula.
Let me look. Wabu. 3 words. Wa, boo, la. That's what you thought they would say.
I don't know.
Okay.
All right. And there was money everywhere. Gee whiz. My next wish is to have a homework maker, I said. Wabula, he said. Next thing you know, there was a robot right there. Next wish, room cleaner, I said. I would just like to pause and let everybody know what my priorities were at this time of my
life. It was
life.
Money, someone to do your homework, and someone to clean your room.
Yeah. Okay. Wabula, Arn said. And there was another robot. Thanks, Arn. I want to, I said. And I stopped suddenly. Arn was gone. Well, I tried to get him out of the lamp, but he wouldn't come. Well, I was satisfied. If you ever had my life, you'd love it. Please look at my illustrations. And
okay. Okay, so we've got one robot on his chest. It just says homework. And then we've got another robot identical, except on his chest it says room clean. And then Dani, or the main character of the short story,
that's
which
me
is
with a side ponytail.
That's
and big
you with
bangs.
a side ponytail and 3 money bags. So YouTubers, there we go.
Okay.
Those are amazing. They'll be on social too.
Oh yeah. So anyways, so that
was very cute. I liked it.
Yeah. Okay. So that was just funny, and I found it. Now the rest of the shit I brought, I was in middle school. For the rest of it, that was kind of like right before I went to middle school.
Okay.
So that was funny. Haha. Cute.
Too, like you said, it shows your the priorities.
I know.
I mean, I love reading like my kids' stuff that they bring home, particularly in elementary school. I guess I don't see their more like high school, middle school stuff as much now. But I always loved reading it, even reports on like people and like their commentary on whoever they were writing about or why they picked that person. Because it does say a lot about like what's going on in their minds, what their priorities are. Sometimes you see a glimmer of like something really good and you're like, oh my gosh, they are good people, or like they're learning or whatever. It's kind of fun.
It is fun.
That's what I think yours was like. Very sweet.
Okay, so now I'm going to take it to a dark place.
Well, just like that.
Sort of. I labeled everything with numbers because I was like, how do I want to like describe all these things?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first one. The second one is, hello, I'm a published author.
Wait, what? Give me that.
Yeah. So back in the early 90s, they would do this every year. It was like, it's called the Anthology of Poetry by Young Americans. And they would send stuff to schools, I think. Did I read the explanation and now I just forgot? But they would send stuff to schools and kids would submit poetry and then they'd publish it and you could pay like $10 or whatever and whatever. Yeah. So anyways, I was in 6th grade when hold. 6th grade, 7th grade. I don't know, 6th or 7th grade. It was in 92 and it was right after my dad died. My dad died very tragically by suicide. And, obviously when you're in middle school, you're going through a lot and then you have a horrible traumatic event happen. Plus a parent dies. It's a lot. So I would do a lot of writing and journaling and all of that kind of thing. And I'm actually super surprised that I turned this poem in because it's not really about me and it's not long, but this is going to be sad and then also funny because then I'm going to read you just some of the other ones that are in here. But this was not long after he died. And, anyways, I'm just going to read it to you.
Okay.
And I was 12 years old. It was 1992 when I wrote this. And I want to say my dad died in August of 92. And I think I wrote it like just a few months after. Okay. So here's what it's called. It's called The Last Goodbye. All right. You hear someone crying. You know someone is dying. You walk into a room filled with darkness and gloom. You hold a young girl's hand and she says, I knew that man. She says, I loved him so. I couldn't let him go without telling him these words, Daddy, I love you so. You look at the girl. You see her brown curls. You see tears falling from her eyes, blue as the big blue sky. You tell her you must go. And she tells you, yes, I know. She tells you, I just wanted to have my last goodbye.
Dang.
Now, to read that as an adult makes me be like, holy shit, because the hardest thing when you lose someone in a tragic, sudden way is not being able to say goodbye. I don't want to say it's easier when somebody has a terminal illness or something like that, or if they're very old and it's coming. But when it's so sudden and that is so hard because there's no closure, right?
Yeah. Like you said, I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I haven't suffered something like that, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's easier. It's just a different, a different way where you don't have, like you said, the closure or, as humans, we have to warm up to things and we're adaptable beings. And so for something like that, you don't have the adaptation period.
Right.
To accept whether you want to or not that this thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a different, oh, my computer's just dinging. Don't mind. That means I got an email. Thank you, listeners. I'm sure it was you sending me an email to our Generation in Between podcast at gmail.com. Don't worry, guys. We're going to figure it out. Yeah, I think so. When you were talking about the blue eyes, is that your sister?
That's what I'm wondering because I have brown eyes, right?
Mm-hmm. So you're talking about both of you.
I don't know. Like, it's so weird because first of all, I don't remember writing this. The weird part about that time in my life, in my childhood, some things I remember so clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Other things, literally nothing. I can remember the night my dad died to like so many details, but I don't remember a lot about him, which is weird. Don't worry, guys. I've been in therapy for like lots of years, and there's lots of reasons for that.
Everyone's about to send you crisis line numbers.
I know.
There's nothing wrong with that, but
no, listen,
she's handling
I
this.
I know why that is because when it's easier when things cause you pain and you're a child to block them off and not remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also like I was at such like a formative age, puberty and changing, childhood's ending, womanhood's beginning, and then your parent dies. And it's like, what? Like, I don't know. Anyway, but like, I hadn't looked at this in a long time. And then like looking at it, I was like, so obviously I really wanted to say goodbye and I didn't get a chance to. And I'm like, okay, why did I say blue eyes? And then I thought the same thing.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, she's not talking about herself.
Right.
Which is kind of sweet because you were sort of, you're talking about your experience, but you included your sister in what you're saying. I think that's probably or did your dad have blue eyes?
No.
Yeah. So you're talking
about
your
I
sister.
look just like my dad. But then, okay, so there's that poem by 12-year-old Dani in this book, but then there's some other gems.
Let's shake it up a little.
Because there's
oh my God.
A poem called Months by Jessie Sutton, age 8. August and September, beach and school, fun and work.
Wait, read it again.
August and September, beach and school, fun and work.
It's profound.
So I'm not done. I'll share a couple more because it's hilarious.
That is so funny.
That you have my like grief laden
and then there's this one. At least they're not literally right next to each other.
And then there's this other one called Cars. And actually I went to school with this kid. His name's Robbie Green. And he was also 12. Some cars go fast. Some go slow. Some go speeds I don't know. Some are red. Some are blue. Some are old. Some are new. Some cars break down when you least expect it. That may cause a lot of hectic. It may break down on the side of the road. Then you would need to get it towed.
It sounds like a Dr. Seuss book.
Right?
Yeah. Like
I was like, that'd be a really cute toddler book. Like, honestly.
It would be, honestly.
I mean, fun artwork. Mine is just like, damn, that's so sad. So then we're moving on.
That was fun.
Okay.
Well, final two were fun.
Here's the thing though. Here's the thing. I think while I was going through this, I was like, damn, some of this is heavy and some is so funny. But I think that's what life is. Life is never just, even in grief. Like my family operates in dark humor and sarcasm. That's just like my family, like my birth family and my chosen family and my household. We just do like that's just like our way to cope with anything in life is dark humor and sarcasm because
well, and I think too, you and I were kind of talking about this before we recorded. I was saying like, especially at our podcast, we look back on things and a lot of times we look back on things from like the 80s and 90s and it's funny. We're like, oh my God, remember when we used to do that? And we're like, ha 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 ha. And that's all part of the experience, of course. But like there are deeper things.
Oh yeah.
There are issues that were going on that sometimes we talk about on this podcast. Like you were just saying, puberty, losing a parent, grief, but also like growing up and independence and family things. I think sometimes when we look back, we don't always delve back into those difficult and painful things.
Yeah. And I think it's like the whole, like one thing can exist with the other,
Absolutely.
You can have humor and sadness at the same time. You don't have to just feel, and I think for creative people, we live in that space of all the feelings all at once, all the time. But for logical thinkers, like my husband's a very logical thinker. My oldest is the same. It's hard to think, oh, you can be mad and happy and, all at the same, all at once. It's that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I talk about this with my mom and Alzheimer's too.
Oh, yeah.
That one of the more surprising things for me in this journey so far is how light and funny it can be.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we're like making fun of what she's going through.
No.
That's not what I mean at all. Like with her, we have fun and she laughs. And sometimes things are silly because like she picks up a pen and is like trying to eat something with it and she laughs, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it's been a very, the moments of joy in this journey have been very unexpected for me.
Yeah.
To not make light of it, but like to not be like, oh, it's fun. It's not.
Right.
The overarching thing is a problem and tragic and painful. And there's a lot of grief involved. But when those moments of joy crop up, they're like a bonus.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like it exists because, and, you know, specifically with things like dementia, they're still whole people.
Right. Of course.
So they still are experiencing joy, maybe in a different way, or things that are funny, or the fear or the sadness or the whatever. So kind of what you're saying, it all does exist at once.
Yeah.
It really does. And it did back in the 80s and 90s. And, you know, sometimes we forget that. All right, here we go.
We're going to start with some more funny stuff.
Oh my God. I'm
scared. So this is my diary, everyone. I'm going to show it to you. I even wrote down notes of things I had to talk about the diary before we actually. So here it is. All right, I'm showing YouTube. It is hot pink. It's got some cool 90s stuff. I have crap written all over. Katie, why don't you just tell me some of the things you see on the cover and back of my diary there.
So it is hot pink, and it's got like those squiggly geometric kind of shapes. Even the word diary is like triangles and squares. It says Dani's diary in cursive. It says, I heart Randy.
Yeah. Oh, there's going to be a whole story about Randy. Don't worry.
Okay, good. There's something X'd out. I heart Chad with a big X through it.
There's going to be so many of these I love and I don't love.
And then it just says stay.
I don't. Stay out.
Oh, stay out. Oh, it does say stay out. You're right.
Same on the back. Just in case you don't know that a diary is secret, I made sure to write it on the back.
Top secret. And then it says, I positively, but then it doesn't say anything after that.
I have no idea.
Coolness, geekazoid. Yeah. Geekazoid.
Who knows? I don't know.
And then it says, in case we've missed the message so far, giant letters. This is for Dani's eyes only, but the eyes are drawn. YouTube, I'm going to show you. Do you see the eyeballs? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Which I guess those are eyeballs. Let's hope so. And then it says abso-freaking-lutely. And then it says fly and flip. And then for some unbeknownst reason, there is a single sticker of a dinosaur dancing with a boombox. I don't know what kind of dinosaur that is.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Little piece of 90s fun
There's
there
a lot
for
going
you.
on.
So then, Katie, there's doodles. I was a doodler, obviously. I have attention problems. This is very evident when you look at writings and you see my doodles and all the things. Nobody caught on to it because I was a good student. But anyway, so again, on the inside, I have more things about Get Out of Here. The funniest thing, though, is the back. Because remember how you said on the front you saw that I loved several people and then crossed it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
At all these loves.
And oh my God. We're going to have to post pictures of this.
I literally was... Okay, part of this is hilarious and part of it's sad because as I was going back through it, I realized it's funny because I had crushes, like obviously, I mean, hello, I'm going to show everybody. There's like 60,000 I love so-and-sos and then crossed out and then written again and then crossed out and then written again. I was so boy crazy. But then I realized I had such a desperate need for approval and acceptance from boys. Now, that is because I probably have daddy issues, right? And also it was also hard to read, and we'll talk more about it later. I had horrible self-confidence. I still do. Katie knows, she's a close friend of mine. I never felt comfortable in my body. All these entries, even when I was so young, just body bashes myself and other people.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get more on that later. But the other funny thing, Katie, these last few pages of my diary, do you remember doing like letter games where you'd write down the name of your crush and then you like do this counting thing.
Yes.
And then, okay, so I had like
MASH.
50, 100 of these.
Oh my God.
And if I didn't like the results, I would do it again. Okay. So really, that was my cousin. I like did it for her. Anyway, so there you go. So that's just the beginning of the adventure we're about to take.
I'm so excited. I need to know who Chad and Randy are.
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay.
So, but we're going to start when I got this diary. It was the Christmas. I think it was the Christmas after my dad died. Y'all may have seen the picture in our socials of me on Christmas morning with a suede jacket and rollerblades.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I got this.
What a haul.
I know this because the first entry. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. So I wish I would have written the year. I did not write the year, but I know it was like 90, probably 92 is my guess. Friday. Date, Christmas. You are my new diary. I got up at 6 this morning. I was a little upset at not getting a TCR, which we'll talk about in a second, but I got a suede jacket plus $150 more later. And then I signed my name. Like, who the hell's reading this? I don't understand. So, okay. A TCR, Katie. Do you remember the TVs that had a VCR built into the bottom?
Yes.
Okay. They were really big in the early 90s. My best friend down the street got one, and I wanted one so bad. I had a black and white TV in my room without cable. You know, the rabbit ear antennas. Yeah. And I wanted one so bad. Well, they were super expensive. Like, eventually they got to be like whatever, but they were super expensive, and I was 12. So
like you're not getting that for Christmas.
Nobody's getting that. So, okay, you could see the morning. I was very excited. I got my diary, probably wearing my suede jacket around in South Louisiana at 80 degrees, sweating my face off. So later in the day, I come back.
So sad.
Okay. Well, now I am mad. That's how you start. Yes. Some parts of me have changed greatly, guys, and some have not. Okay, now I am mad. I was dying for a TCR, and now I have to use my damn money, spelled incorrectly, by the way, for one. Tara, though, got exactly what she wanted. Fuck her.
That's her sister, by the way.
Yeah, fuck everyone. It's not fair. Ooh, I got a jacket and rollerblades. She got a stair stepper and a thigh master. Can't. I am so peeved. Oh my gosh, guys. Yeah. Anyway, so then I go on about this little boy I like. That's really stupid. And then, but at the very end, I put, well, now Tara is being nice. More soon.
Well, yeah, she's got all those exercise endorphins from the stair stepper and thigh master.
My sister getting a stair stepper for
that
Christmas.
Is hilarious. Talk about expensive.
But also, I think Tara, correct me on this. I think it was one of the kinds that wasn't, you remember the kind that was just, it had like a pump, like you just like pumped it. It wasn't like
it wasn't like,
one.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't like a gem quality one.
Did the work do
you know what I mean?
Yep. I bet it was
I think that's what it was. Because I remember us having one of those, but anyway, but I'm like, that's what she asked for Christmas. I would like a stair stepper and a thigh master, please.
Because she would have been 19-ish, 18 or 19. 18.
Yeah, because she was 18. Well, she was about to turn 19.
Yeah, because like they're weird gifts for like an 11 or 12-year-old, but I feel like a young adult, I mean, also very telling of the times, of course.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
But like at least it like sort of makes a little more sense. Yeah.
So here I was pissed off.
Because you didn't get a TCR, but she's over here stair stepping and thigh mastering her way to greatness. How dare she?
I have to watch my VCR tapes in the living room. Okay, lame.
Very lame.
Oh my God, hilarious. Okay, so that's funny. All right. Okay, so this was crazy. I do not remember this at all, and I'm going to share this with you guys. So that was December. This was January 31st, same year. Guess what? After 2 weeks, me and Wendy made up. Oh, because by the way, girls have drama at this age. So constant entries of who I was fighting with, who was my best friend, who I would never talk to again. And then 2 entries later, I'd be like, we're best friends again. Okay, right? This is so crazy. Another riot is starting. Heads versus rappers. Eric Bartlett even got jumped. It is so scary. I forgot to tell you, I got a perm.
So someone got beat up, but more importantly, I received a perm.
And I was like, oh shit, I remember that perm. Oh, guys. Okay. So I'm sitting there and I was like, a riot? What? Then I remembered when I was in middle school, there was a huge problem with big group fights. But I was like, heads, what the hell is that? What is a heads? And then I was thinking, oh, I think that's what like we called like the headbangers.
I bet that's it.
And I was like, well, that's more like kind of a race thing that I don't think I picked up on.
Yeah.
Right?
Heads versus rappers.
And I was like, oh my God. So just, I mean, I've shared before. I grew up in South Louisiana, not far from New Orleans, across the lake. I went to public school. It was a suburban area, like, but I was like, dang, but anyway, so that's just a little bit of how a middle school brain works. I was scared because people were getting jumped, but also I got a perm. So
it wasn't all bad.
Okay, so that was just funny. I had a question mark on that little thing. So I was like, what the hell was I talking about? Okay, this one, I have documented the first time I smoked a cigarette as a teenager.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 13.
Wow.
Yeah. Gross. Okay. So I marked that because like see my little face? I have this little face written as just eyes and a little straight mouth because yeah. So this was in May. I want to say I wasn't real good about being consistent writing. Like Katie's super good about like intentionally writing on a regular basis. I am so sporadic, which I guess checks. But so I would go like months without writing anything and then I'd go back. So I want to say this was like the following year. And it was in May. And remember, guys, this is the early 90s. Latchkey kids, me and all my friends were from divorce. Most of us were from divorced families. We were all alone a lot. And I'm not saying that there weren't kids who were trustworthy, but a lot of us were getting into trouble. So here it was. Oh my God, I am so shocked. At 3:50 p.m., me, Jen, and Alicia, sorry girls if I'm throwing y'all under the bus, went in my backyard and smoked. And I put, it wasn't that bad. Now, why we did that, how we got, I think Alicia's mom smoked. So I think we probably stole her cigarettes. How we got away with that in my backyard, I have no idea. Well, nobody was there. So I was like, okay. And then 3 weeks later, me, Jen, and Kelly smoked. So I documented every time I smoked a cigarette for a really long time. And then by the time I was like 15, I was like regularly smoking.
I didn't, maybe I did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did know that. Because you smoked through college.
I did. I didn't quit smoking until Troy and I started seriously dating when I was in my early 20s. And meanwhile, I was still singing and all the things. And I had vocal surgery when I was 19. Probably should have quit then.
Yeah.
Did I? No, I smoked for 3 more years after that, which is so stupid and dumb. If I could rewind time, I would go back and never let myself have a cigarette.
It's wild that it ended up turning into a habit.
An addiction.
And an addiction, and you have it documented here. Because I know there's a page in a diary of mine about smoking or something, but I've never been a regular smoker. So isn't
that weird?
It's weird. And it's also like, addiction is so, and obviously we're not experts on this and we won't get too in the weeds, but it's so interesting.
It is.
Like, I don't mean that in like a light way, but how people can have the same experience, but then the addiction journey looks so different for someone else, even within families, like even within my family. Like, but it's interesting though, because sometimes I'll notice like, maybe I'm oversensitive, but like an addictive pattern, like I've stopped drinking this year.
Yeah.
because I was like, I'm doing it just as a habit
Yeah.
and as a coping mechanism, which doesn't make me an alcoholic or doesn't even make that wrong. But because I know of patterns in my genetic pool, it was enough to make me go, I need to break this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I can't ever have a glass of wine again, but it just means like this habit could take me down a path I don't want to go down. And I've seen it happen.
Well, I've talked before, my sister is a recovering addict, and I also I feel like everybody in our family has some kind of addiction pattern. Mine, I was a smoker, but then I was an obsessive exerciser.
Yep.
Like I was addicted.
I've been there too.
To exercise, and it's exactly what you say, and you have to be so aware. And even with drinking, I have to sometimes pay attention and be like, oh, okay, let's pull back. Because when you have addiction around you and you also see the destruction, I think you can recognize it a lot better than, but sometimes you don't want to.
Right.
Because you always want to validate, it's not that. Like, it's not like as bad as whatever. But I don't know. I mean, and nicotine, guys, is just like caffeine, I feel like is just as addictive as nicotine or sugar or whatever. But like once that gets up in your blood system on a regular basis,
it's true. Like
it is a nightmare. And with anything really.
How did you end up quitting? Like what was your path?
Oh God. Well, first, so like Troy and I started dating, and then I was still smoking. And Troy, here's the thing, Troy is a prior smoker as well. He also was like, he used to dip. But he had quit, years before we started dating. And every now and then he would have like a social cigarette, because that's when we were in our early 20s and going out and whatever. But he had been like totally quit for a long time. So when we first started dating, he didn't like it. But, but when we started seriously dating, we were like chatting, and he's like, I mean, do you have any intention to quit this habit? And I was like, well, yeah, like one day, because anybody who's a smoker doesn't ever think they're going to be a lifetime smoker. You just think, oh, I'll stop at this point, or maybe this point, or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah, eventually, I don't know. And he was like, well, he's like, I don't remember how he said it, but basically it was like, if we want to be serious, like that's kind of a deal breaker for me, which is totally fair. And at first I was like, well, bleh, whatever. No man can tell me what to do. Like, it's my body. And
also fair.
Which is facts. Yeah. But also but then I had this so for a while I was just like, whatever, I'm going to do what I want. But then I was like, really? I'm going to give up this great guy who's so good for this nasty habit that I need to stop anyway?
Right. It's not him being like, I think you should wear these clothes or do this thing. It's him actually
dangerous habit,
feeling concerned for you.
And it's gross, and it smells, and it's gross, and it takes up money and time, and I stink, and then anyway. So I was like, okay, it was like a very gradual process. I quit, and then he'd be at work or something, and I would have a sneak pack of cigarettes. But then I was like, okay, this is so dumb. And then finally I just grew up pretty much. And I was like, okay, I'll be done. And then for years after that, it would be really hard for me.
That was what I was going to ask.
But now I hate it. I can't stand to be around cigarettes. And it's funny because the other night we were hanging out with some friends outside, and one of them was smoking, and they removed themselves. But she had started walking closer, and we were back up, and I was like, I cannot stand to smell it. And I was being so dramatic, but I was like, that's why, because it's just gross. It's weird how your brain can love something so much and then flip over and be like, bleh.
Well, and I think there's a cultural thing there too.
Oh yeah.
Where, 80s and 90s and even early 2000s, we were still going into indoor spaces that had smoking, whether it was the whole thing or smoking areas. And so if I smell smoke now, it is jarring to me because I never do.
Right. And you're in places where it just doesn't happen. But we used to go on airplanes where people would smoke. Remember?
Yeah. I mean, think about that.
That's so gross.
It's like recycled air. And And I just think in general, we were more used to it.
Yeah.
Even if we weren't smokers, like my grandparents smoked,
Well,
I'd go over there and spend the night, whereas like now, unless you are a smoker or in a household with a smoker, you're really not ever around it.
Which is such a great thing.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. Like it's hard to be a smoker nowadays because
I think so.
It's hard to get places where you can have it. But anyway, so smoking, yay, got that documented. So that's fantastic. That's not all I have documented in here, but I'm not going to go into all that. Okay. So, let me see. Oh my God. Okay. So I have to share this because two things are funny about this story. Number one, I told y'all that I was a psycho and used to write love letters to people
and mail them with a stamp.
Which I still can't believe I told people, but fine. It's whatever. Because we have heard from other people that they used to do weird shit like that too. So it's fine. Number one, that's going to relate to the story. Second, back in the early 90s, country line dancing was on fire. I used to go every Friday night to this local Catholic church because I had this big gym. And I think it was like $5. And you go and they would teach you all the dances and then you do them. And it was a place where a lot of teenagers went because it was like the end thing to do. And it was so much fun. So I had this group of friends and our parents were like dropping us off at a church.
Yeah.
Right. To dance and have Coke. And like, then they pick us up like, hello. And there was this boy I had a crush on and we kind of had like a back and forth, for a while, if I remember correctly. But I think that I think what ended up happening from my written down memories, that he did like me, but I think he didn't like me as much as I liked him.
Fair. And sometimes you maybe don't realize that till you're reading back some of the details as a grown person.
I think anyway. Also, this tells you how old I was because it was the summer before my 8th grade year. So I was young because I started school at 5. So I guess I was about to turn 13. Okay, so that means I smoked a cigarette at 12, everyone. So that's lovely.
Oh,
no,
man.
13. I don't know. Whatever. No, let's see. How old are you in 8th grade?
12 or 13. No, 13 or 14 in 8th grade. So because I have a 7th grader who's 12 going on 13.
I think I was 12 turning 13 and then I turned 14 my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
No, that's wrong.
In November?
Because I graduated in 98. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I hate math. Okay. It doesn't matter. I was still young.
You were too young to be smoking.
Yeah. Okay. So 4 more days till 8th grade. I guess I am disappointed. On Friday night, Evan didn't talk to me except when we did the barn dance. No fucking clue what that is. All he said was, "How many letters are you going to write me, girl?" And he smiled.
Oh my God.
Why did I think that was like a good thing? Like he was probably like, "You're psycho," but he was trying to be nice. Yeah. Cringe.
Oh my God. And that's literally the only thing he said to you.
Only thing.
During the barn dance.
Which who knows what that is? Okay, so now we're going to talk about, since we're on crushes, let me tell you the little story about how I have all these like little I love so-and-so. So you saw on the front, it said, I love Randy. Okay. So I don't know if he'll ever hear this. I think we're still friends on social media, but I haven't talked to this child in years. Nice guy. I think he still lives down there. He's a tattoo artist. But Randy and I went to middle school and high school together. Okay. Because I lived in the same place. We had crushes on each other off and on like our whole time. I don't really think we liked each other like that. I think we were just friends. Like, I think we just liked each other as people, but we just didn't know that. Like, like platonic friendships when you're young are weird. Like, you don't know how to navigate because you're having like sexual feelings and like, I don't know. I think thinking
like
back
looking
now,
back,
like, why did I have all these crushes on him? And I was like, I think maybe I just thought he was a great person. I don't know.
And you thought that equaled a crush. Yeah.
I don't know.
So
we had a back and forth. So I had all these entries in this diary of, oh, I love Randy now again. Oh, we broke up. Oh, me and Randy, blah, blah, blah. It's hilarious. So I was like, how many times did we like go out and break up and all these funny things? But anyway, hey, Randy, what's up?
Hey, Randy.
Randy Keeler is his name. If anybody hears this, tell him
If
I
you
said
need a
hello. Hope you're
tattoo,
doing well.
go see Randy.
Yeah, I think the name of his tattoo parlor is No Kings, I think.
No Kings.
He's super great artist. Great artist.
Okay.
Anyway, it was just funny because I forgot that I was like, oh yeah, me and Randy Keeler had a thing for off and on.
To be fair, when you were just describing that, that's how I feel about my college boyfriend.
Oh, there you go.
Like forever, that like looking back now, or not even that long after we finally like broke up and stuff, and we like moved to Florida together, like everything.
Oh.
Yeah, and then broke up.
And then,
but
that's fun.
But here I am. So
yeah, but
there you go.
There's a reason.
There's a reason. But like him and I, same thing. I'm like, yeah, he was just a really great guy and nice. And there was nothing wrong with him. And he thought I was nice and we ran in the same circles. But like when I look back, I'm like, I don't know that I ever like was attracted to him or him
I don't
to
know.
me.
I don't know.
It was just like, yeah, this makes sense. And I
Right.
like being around this person. And it wasn't until later that I was like, that wasn't really a romantic relationship.
Which, to be fair, when you're dating, that's what should happen. You should figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should
Good
date
point.
a bunch of people and be like, oh yeah, like this person. Because I think sometimes when you feel comfortable with someone, you confuse that with, especially, not to be dark again, especially if you don't have a very good foundation to work from of safe relationships, or like I already had issues with men and daddy issues and all the things. So I think I would just latch on. But God, that sounds so gross. It sounds so bad, but
no, it's okay. I know what you mean. Okay, what's next?
This is the last thing I'm going to read from my diary, because I had some entries from 8th grade. It gets towards the end of 8th grade, and then I go into high school, and I'm just going to tell you guys, things get a lot more like heavy and intense and graphic, and like I don't want to share it. It's just
that's just for you.
You don't need to know all this. But here's something that crushed me when I was reading through. How many times I wanted to be in a different body, and how many times people made fun of my body that I would write about. Even friends of mine. I can remember a sleepover I was at one time. They thought I was asleep. Like, it was like, 90s, 80s, 90s sleepover. We were all in one big like rec room, sleeping bags, and they were talking about how fat I was and how ugly I was. And like, these are supposed to be your friends. And so I just remember like I was and I remember just covering my head and just crying myself to sleep.
That's terrible.
I know. And then the next morning we get up and everybody's just whatever. And I had to sit there and eat breakfast with everyone thinking, you guys were just like, you're my friend. Like it was terrible. Anyway, so I told you some of this shit's hard. So seeing this over and over and over again would just, it made me so sad. And like, look, all caps, it says, I wish I was skinny.
Oh.
Right. I'll show you.
All right.
And there was some stuff going on in my life with like boys, and like, I even had boys tell me they didn't like me because I was fat.
So it's all very, very, very bothersome.
Yeah.
But also like just having, children this age now, I don't want to stereotype and say girls, but I see it more in the girls than my son. There's still, I don't want to say it's developmentally appropriate to not like your body, but I think
you feel out of place.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
Like the environmental side of it where you're made to not like your body, whether that's literal friends or society or culture or media. But there's also the like, I don't like my body. That's inherent.
Yeah. Well,
and wanting something else. Yeah. You feel weird. You look weird. Yeah. Like you just do.
You just do for a while.
Yeah.
But it's just so sad because we did not, in the early 90s, there was not this positive body image stuff that now granted we have it now, but we have so far to go, guys. I mean, but we weren't seeing representation of other people's bodies. This was the time of heroin chic models. This was the time of, the supermodels, the Cindy Crawford, like, I mean, all the TV stars, everybody you saw was the skinny, white, beautiful lady.
Yes.
And
that is true.
I grew up in a house. my body developed in a very different way than my sister. And my sister is 7 years older than me.
Right.
And she was this naturally platinum blonde. Yes. Straight. This was back in the time of the stick straight hair. Her hair is naturally stick straight. Mine used to have a lot of curl. It kind of fell out the older I got. And I had this brown frizzy hair. We're all short in my family, but I am stockier, if that makes sense. Now for me as a personal trainer now that works well because I build muscle very quickly. But my sister was smaller and and my mom was super little and cute and like they didn't struggle the way I did with certain things. And I was growing up in this house where I was just seeing all this. And then anyway, it's a lot. So this entry, and this is where I'm going to stop here. I made an oath to myself and I would do this a lot. I wrote, Dani Michelle Thompson, on this date, October 15th, 1993. I was not even 13 yet, I don't think. Yeah, because I turned 13 in November. 11:27 p.m. I hereby solemnly swear to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months. Yeah. I now weigh 120 pounds.
Oh my God. Also, if you're 12 going on 13, you shouldn't be losing. Right. You know this. Listeners know this. You are growing. Yes.
Yeah. And to be honest with you guys, I was probably around the same height that I am now. Like I'm 5'2". I probably wasn't much shorter. And I weigh much over 120 pounds these days. And I mean, granted, I had the baby fat that we all have, you know, but I look back at pictures and I remember thinking I was just so big. And I wasn't. I was a normal looking kid. Well, I don't want to say normal, but I was just a kid.
Right. You were right. And that being said, like children and adults have different body shapes, and being in a bigger body, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. And that is something I really wish, you know, we would have had back then. Was I think if I would have seen, you know, people in bigger bodies in the media, which I hate to say because the media shouldn't define you, but it really does make a difference.
It makes a difference.
See that, okay, so what? Like if I'm in whatever body I'm in, like you can be beautiful and successful and happy and healthy. Hello.
Yes.
No matter what your body size is. But anyway, so we're going to move on. I don't want to linger too long there.
Yeah.
Also, another funny thing is I had a lot of ripped pages out of my diary.
Oh my gosh. You're right. What is happening? You don't know.
Don't know.
Gone forever.
And also like,
what's it say?
My mom, oh my God, this is so bad. I was an asshole of a teenager for a while, as we all become. She had this boyfriend and it was when I was like, I was in middle school. No, this was by the time I was in high school when they dated, who ended up being her fiance and then it fell through. But he had a little kid who was the biggest brat in the entire world. I hope he's doing well now. He was 6 years old. He's from a divorced family. He had a lot going on, but I could not stand him. And they used to like force me to do things with him. So on one page, I put AJ is an asshole and a brat.
It's like the whole page.
He's 6 years old, guys.
Right. I am guessing, hopefully, fingers crossed, he is not an asshole and a brat any longer.
He was just 6 years old. And I mean, he had a heart.
But also, your feelings are valid.
But also,
you wrote them in your diary because you felt them.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
We're going to move on now to some poetry.
Let's do it.
The diary is away. Like I said, some of these are cringe. Some of them are hilarious. But I found a poem I wrote for my sister.
Oh.
And I don't know when I did because my sister and I, you know, we have a big age gap and we weren't very close until we were older, which makes sense and it's fine. But anyway, I don't want to read that. I don't know why I put that in here. Yeah, we're not reading that.
Okay.
Stupid. So what we're going to talk about is I found all these poems that I typed on a typewriter. I had this electric typewriter that I loved so much, which by the way, guys, that's how we used to have to write papers and all the things for school. But I am a really fast typer. And it seems like you probably are too.
I am.
Yeah. And I used to typing was my favorite class because I was so good and I was so fast. And I used to love to type things on my typewriter, like the sound and just
I did the same thing.
like, just that feeling of
I wrote stories and poems.
yes.
And I'm sure it was electric too. Very quick side note. My great aunt, who I was really close to, I have her old typewriter from like the 40s.
That's fun.
Obviously, I don't use it, but I like right now I have it in storage because I want to like kind of put it on display or have it on a desk somewhere, and I just haven't had like a spot I feel comfortable with it there yet. It's beautiful.
That's so cool.
So I may type like a single thing on it just to have it. Like, oh, maybe I'll write a poem. Oh, just kidding. I'm not.
You should. Are you a poem writer?
So yes, but I think the last time I've written a poem was probably 15 years ago. But I wrote a lot through my teen years. I took several classes in college on it. And then I even as like a young adult and like as a single parent, I wrote a lot of them.
Yeah. But, I am weird. I go through like years where I write a lot, but I don't share my poems anymore. They're just for me, guys. So
they're just for you.
As you can see, I'm very skilled in my stories about genies. Okay, so so some of my like typewriter ones. I have like funny shit to share. Oh, okay. Ooh. I have funny things to share, and then I have like some cringe because as you can see, this is heavy and light. Okay. Katie is getting a wire. Something's going on. Oh, her computer was dying.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but now we good.
Okay. We got it.
Right, but where's my headphones? Don't worry, guys.
It's okay. We can always edit that out too if we need to.
We could.
Although now we're on YouTube, so no, we can't. Just lying. Okay.
Just kidding. You get to see all the things.
I was in high school when I had my electric typewriter. So this is between the years of 94 and 98, everyone. Okay. All right. So this is a good one. This could be a Hallmark card. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
You're going to love this because it's about music.
Oh.
This is, I think, when I started like really singing. I was in show choir and all the things. And this is when I used to be able to sing way differently than I do now. Okay. A song is like a raindrop that twinkles in the dew. It makes you feel fresh, a soul set anew. A song is like a hug that fills you up with glee. It makes you feel warm, a gift for you, to us, or me. A song is like a river that goes on far and wide, makes you feel so good and refreshed deep inside.
Love that. That is what a song is. For real. I need a copy of that.
Oh God. Okay. So this actually is a handwritten poem, and this is about my sister. And I think I may have like given her this. I don't know. I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna text her later and ask her, and I'll let you know next time. This one might make you cry because you do have daughters and sisters. Who are sisters.
Who are sisters? Yes.
Okay. I know she'll always be there whenever I happen to call. I know she'll help me up if I ever happen to fall. I know I'll always need her no matter what may be because she is the greatest sis that has ever come to me.
Aw.
I know we will always fight, but we always seem to make up. I get to see her every so often, but that just isn't enough. I know I used to be a brat and we were so far apart, but now we're older and closer, and she's always close to my heart. She lives so far away from me, yet I know she can't help it. She goes to school and has a life the same for me, but her I won't forget. That kind of fell apart there. My sister is so important to me, and I love her just so much. She is the best and will always be. My heart shall always touch. Her strength and courage I envy, but under them I stand. She is so strong, so I follow. She makes me say, yes, I can.
Aw.
She has been through a lot, and I guess so have I, but her spirit is strong, and it always seems to try. My sister is the best to me, and I will love her always. She will always be here, and she never leaves me. If she did, I don't know what I would ever happen to do. My soul would die and my spirit too, because my sister is how they grew.
Oh, that is so sweet.
I don't remember writing this.
You're like, and did it happen? It must have. It's my handwriting.
It did. And it's crazy because I definitely feel that now as an adult, and we're both in our 40s. Well, she's 50. I definitely feel that now. But I remember, I guess probably because when I was a teenager is when we probably really started to click and stuff. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's encouraging. I feel like my kids are all close, but when they, especially the girls, if there's like infighting,
Yeah.
I will always remind them. There's like a little joke because I don't have sisters.
I know. Yeah.
And so, but I have 4 girls.
Right.
So I'm always like, okay, the universe like paid me back, you know, and now I don't have sisters, but I
Right.
have this presence.
Yeah.
But when they get into arguments or whatever, I'll be like, some people don't even have sisters like me, so I don't want to hear it. And like at this point, they'd like just roll their eyes. So like,
Whatever.
we know.
Well, there's probably days that they're like, I wish I didn't have a sister.
Right. They're like, lucky you.
I know.
Yeah.
It's funny. But anyway, I know. That's so sweet. So everybody out there, love your siblings.
Love your siblings.
And I will say to all the parents out there, because it used to, my mom, she used to try to force us to bond. And you just can't, you can't force your kids to bond. They just have to, it has to happen generically. And she used to make us feel so bad about it. She used to be like, I don't know why you girls like aren't closer, blah, 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 blah. But we just weren't. It's just the way our life was. But anyway, so all you parents out there who might have kids who are farther apart in age, because it can be a little more difficult.
It's hard, yeah.
Just have hope because sometimes they'll write
or they're close in age and they fight all the freaking time. You know,
just siblings.
I like what you said about that though, because sometimes I feel like the pressure to like fix it,
right?
And you just can't. They'll find their way.
Okay, so I only have a couple more things to share, and then we're done. I know y'all love this so much.
I know they do. I know I do.
She's like, I know they do.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. Obviously, like I honestly, I'll be real with you guys. I had a hard time finding stuff that wasn't super dark and heavy. Like I had a lot, guys. I don't know. I feel like I was an Eeyore for a long time, but I hit it. I think it's weird because I feel like I've always been a very genuine, authentic person, but I think I was really good at masking too. So it's really weird as an adult to look back on your teenage stuff like this. It's really weird because you can see stuff now in hindsight that you didn't then. Anyway, so here's a poem about my typewriter.
Oh, for something totally different.
Not really, because you'll understand why I'm telling this.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel lonely. Sometimes I feel sad. And sometimes when I look at myself, I look really bad.
Oh.
But I always have a typewriter and a typing paper and a pad. Do you remember buying the pads of typewriting paper?
Yes.
Okay. And when I write, I end up being not so sad. They can't laugh and say stuff to my face. They can't joke and make me a basket case. I can look at myself now and see a winner, and I don't need anyone telling me I'm a quitter.
I love that.
Oh,
because writing is that way.
It is. It is.
It makes you feel good about yourself, for sure.
Okay. This one is sad and funny at the same time. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. My name is Dani. I am different. I have a guy's name. It is unique. I don't have a dad. He is dead.
Oh,
wait. He died a long time ago. Okay, just 3 years. I miss him a lot. My sister is at college. I miss her too. My mom is cool, but she works and takes care of me. I miss her too. I have a lot of friends. I love them like a lot, but I miss them too. This is the weirdest final line to this poem.
Okay.
I guess that I just miss the fact of missing. What?
I feel like it was like sort of a journal entry about where everyone's at in life, and then the end was like you overthinking like a clever ending. No. Like I do that when I write still, but I definitely did it when I was younger when I thought I was being like super clever, and then I'll read back over things now and I'm like,
man.
What?
Okay. So this is my final entry, and then we'll let you share any cringy things you have.
I brought a single cringy thing.
I cannot wait. But don't worry, Katie's going to have an entire episode devoted to her cringy stuff when she gets it. I can't wait for that.
I'm so inspired now.
I am so glad because I have a paper I wrote in my senior year AP English class. I was a month away from graduation, and I loved this class. Miss Martin was her name. Everybody who had her loved her. She was fantastic. She has moved on to better pastures now. Oh my God, she was on a cow. Sorry. She moved on to better things in life. Jeez.
Maybe she likes pastures.
I'll tell you one of the memories I have of her that just shows what kind of teacher she is.
Great.
Okay. I'll tell you really quick, then I'll read this. I was a weird kid, as we all know. I had big feelings. I had all things. I had a very serious boyfriend in high school. We dated for like a year and a half, which is a big deal.
That's a long time. Yeah.
It was my fault we broke up. Yes, everybody can write that down. I don't know if I ever told people that in real life. It was hugely my fault because we were on a break on spring break, and I made out with another guy and lied about it when we got back together, and then the guy told him, and so we broke up.
Yeah.
As we should, because nobody needs to be the liar. Like, hello.
Yeah.
But also we were on a break.
Yeah.
But so I lied about it.
But you lied.
About it. I lied.
Right.
I mean, he should have.
Also, you were a teenager.
Also, I was 16 years old.
It's fine.
Anyway, but the day we broke up right before school. And I had to go to school all day. Because, like, in my house, you did not miss school. Like, you were not allowed to, like, you never miss school. And I had already gotten in trouble for skipping school that year. So, like, my ass was, like, on the line. I just had to make it. And I remember going to this English class, and I cried all day, guys. Like, I just, when you have that first heartbreak and it feels like your world is shattered. Yep. Plus, it was like this, we had all the same friends. So everybody was picking sides. Obviously, they should have picked his because I was wrong. But I had really gross things said about me, and people were being really mean. And I think I had one friend who was like trying to help me through it. And it was very awful. And I cried all day. I remember going to Miss Martin's class, and she was teaching. And I'm silently crying. Like, I mean, tears just pouring onto my desk, like just buckets. But I'm sitting there taking notes. Like, I'm trying to keep my shit together because I'm like, I got to get good grades. And she's lecturing. As she's talking, she walks by her desk, grabs a box of Kleenex, and just comes and drops it on my desk. Never misses a beat. She did not call attention to me, but she made me feel seen and made me feel like it was okay. And that, like, those things, kids remember teachers. So thank you for doing that. I wish I could have told her thank you. But yeah, I will never forget that because I couldn't get my life together. Anyway, so that was Miss Martin. And she gave us all these topics to write about. And it was like this one assignment. I'm not reading the other ones because they're stupid. Well, I mean, they weren't stupid assignments, but they're dumb. But we had to write about a dream we had.
Okay.
This was a recurrent dream I had. I forgot about till I read this. And it's creepy.
Oh,
you ready?
I'm here for it.
Okay. I will always remember a dream I had about my neighborhood. I do not exactly recall when I had this dream or how old I was, but I have always remembered it very vividly. It starts off with me walking down the sidewalk on the left side of my street. It was a beautiful summer day. The sun was shining, the grass was fresh and cut, there were no clouds in the sky, and I could hear birds chirping. I was almost to my house, like one house away, when I couldn't move. Like it was like I was completely frozen. I opened my mouth to scream because I was so frightened, but nothing could come out. Then all of a sudden, the gorgeous summer day started to change. Although in front of me, it was still a beautiful day, behind me, it was dark and cloudy. I could hear lightning, and it felt like nighttime. It was like there were two totally different atmospheres in front of me and one behind me. It was like there was a line separating the two, and I was the line. I tried to move so I could go into the sunlight, but I still couldn't move. I then saw a shadow on the sidewalk in front of me of someone behind me walking towards me very quickly. It kept getting closer and closer, and I couldn't do anything. That is all I can remember about the dream. I do not know what was behind me or what happened. I have always remembered that dream because it terrified me so badly. Being helpless was the scariest part, and I will never forget it.
Wow. That's good writing.
I know, right?
You're a good writer.
It was really good. I got an A on that.
What are her notes? I see she wrote.
Yeah, she loved writing notes. This one was about verb usage.
Oh,
and the other one she wrote strange dream. But this other one I wrote. I'm not reading it, but we had to write about memories, and I wrote about Sunday mornings, and it was basically about my dad was super involved in church and like how it and of course it talks about him passing away. But what she wrote on the bottom, she wrote great descriptions and feeling. You didn't know this, I'm sure, but my husband and I knew your mom and dad through Kiwanis.
Oh, Kiwanis Club.
And I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had no idea that my dad was super involved in the community doing lots
so
of
it adds
things. So
up.
a lot of people knew him.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so she would always write notes. Like and then like she made you feel seen.
Yeah.
Like on the other one, she wrote adorable. I loved it. But you need to name the speakers. Like, you know, like
It's like a little bit of criticism, but also,
but that's a good
yeah.
teacher.
And maybe I'll be able to find it. But I had a paper in college, to your point about a teacher. So there's a professor, I guess.
Oh,
but the short version is I went to college for musical theater, ended up switching majors like halfway through my sophomore year to English creative writing. Because I thought I was a horrible actress and all the things. Ended up still getting a degree in musical theater because I was like far enough along that I just finished my path. But like at that point shifted direction. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do English and I don't know, be a writer, be a journalist. I have no idea, which I did end up doing. But it was a little tumultuous for me because I was like basically breaking up with the thing I really wanted to do, but away from like college, away from home, and like my good friends weren't in theater or English, so they didn't really understand, and I guess I felt a little alienated from my community that I thought I had, and just all the things that we go through when these things happen. And I did a piece on it was actually about body image in the media. Isn't that interesting?
Interesting.
And I was talking about different things in it. I bet I could find it because I kept it for a long time. And my professor, I like mentioned like Jennifer Aniston, like this was like 2002, 2003 when I was writing this.
Yeah.
He wrote like in my margins, he's like, wow, Katie, you need to be a published writer. You're an amazing writer. And I remember that. And it actually made me feel
like you could.
I could do it. And also like again, you don't need outside validation. But to your point, I felt seen.
You feel seen.
And the reason I had switched majors in the first place is because I didn't feel seen in the thing I was doing. And then it's even like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Mm-hmm. And then for someone who didn't know any of that to be like, you better keep writing.
Yeah.
Meant a lot.
Yeah.
And it was just like a sentence in red pen on the side of my thing.
Yeah.
It's really, really great. And that encourages me as someone who interacts with young people, right? If you see it, say it.
Yeah. You never know. Like, I feel like honestly in life, it's the little things that make the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's like, I know you're kind of the same way. I like to encourage people and I don't ever not say it. Like if somebody, even if it's somebody who you're like, well, everybody tells them they're good.
Right.
I always make sure, like, especially like doing shows with people, like we need encouragement because performers are the biggest inner critics ever. And we're all, even the people who blow it out of the park every time, still are like, oh God, I just sucked. I just messed up. Right. Like, I just feel like those little things are what matters. Like somebody will remember if you gave them a hug when they were sitting off by themselves crying and nobody else noticed.
Right.
They're going to remember that.
That's true.
I remember my teacher just dropping off Kleenex on my desk because I couldn't get my shit together. I mean, on the flip side, people will also remember if you're a huge asshole on a day.
Absolutely.
Like I had one teacher who hated me and I will never forget how he spoke to me. It was a math teacher. I'm really bad in math. It's just my brain. I just have a hard time with math. And he made me feel like the dumbest person in the world. Like,
and you'll always remember that
being a teacher.
Yeah. No, that's such a great reminder.
Yeah.
Like those things don't change.
No.
Right? Like that human interaction and that just being observant and not to be like this person.
Oh, yeah.
But I think like in modern society, we are so easily isolated.
We are.
Even in a room full of people, everybody's on their phone. And I don't know that there's anything like last night we had a break at rehearsal and I just needed to like not interact with people for a couple minutes because I just needed that decompress and I just needed to like see if my kids texted me and I looked around and everyone's like interacting and chatting and I was just like, it's okay. I need these 5 minutes for me. But like that being said, sometimes it's more like our go-to, like not a chosen thing. And I know you hate that. You've mentioned it before. So I just think it's such a good reminder that if we can like look up sometimes, even if it's not all the time,
look up and look out.
Look out.
Because I think a lot of times we focus so much in
of course.
Yeah. That we forget to look around and like, especially nowadays with phones.
Especially.
Yeah. But anyway.
Wow. Well, that was really fun and deep and a good reminder that like it's funny, but also it's deep, but also like the feelings we had then are valid and the feelings we have now are valid. And our younger selves probably needed a giant hug.
Man.
And a box of tissues dropped off at our desk.
And a perm, apparently.
And a perm.
And a TCR, damn it.
Well, yeah, fuck everyone.
I know.
That's what you
fuck
said.
Everyone. I was so mad. So mad.
On Christmas.
You wrote Christmas, that guys.
in your diary.
Too. I was like,
right?
You get like rollerblade. And my poor mom. Like,
all I got was a suede jacket, rollerblades.
Right? And $150. Like my poor mom was probably trying to make our Christmas the best it could be since our dad just died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hello.
It's
teenagers.
It's teenagers.
Teenagers have no frontal lobe, remember?
That's right.
We don't know I'm beyond teenage life, but
yes, anyway. We are. Awesome. Well, thank you, Dani.
Are you going to show your cringe?
Oh my God. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. I brought one thing. It is a picture. So if you are, I should have put this on my computer. If you are on YouTube, I'll hold it up to the screen, but otherwise you've got to check our socials.
And we'll describe it. Here, let me see it and I'll describe it.
I mentioned this to you recently on an episode.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why did we have to? Okay. So there's 3 clowns in a picture. Oh my God. And it is very 80s, 90s, like clowns with like the rainbow, big hair, the home face paint. Were those homemade outfits?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely with the collar, the ruffled collar. Is that you in the middle?
Let me see. No, that's me on the end with the glasses.
Stop.
That is me.
Shut up.
Glasses right on top of my face paint.
I cannot. Why did you have no red lips? You were white-lipped.
I don't know. Do they have red lips?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They forgot to give you the red lips.
They forgot. So these are my friends, Nicole and Kristen, who I'm still friends with on Facebook and stuff. They live in my hometown. So, okay, YouTube, I'll show you really quick.
We'll put it in socials too.
I'm the one without the red lips wearing glasses. And like, I'm genuinely like proud of this situation. And we didn't just do it for fun. This was for 4-H. Like we got judged on this. We got judged on like our cost.
What were you doing? You were clowning?
It was literally called clowning. Literal. That was the category.
I mean, they do have clown college. Like people are like,
yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But it was like we took it very seriously. Like our outfits were a whole thing.
That's
our
great.
makeup, our wigs. Why did we have the same wigs though? Like, why couldn't we have our own? Like, we're literally all wearing the same wig.
What's
that about?
I am freaked out by clowns.
I know. I'm sorry.
Like, literally, we talked about this already. Troy's reading it right now, so I'm reminded every night that I am terrified of clowns.
Like, I remember.
Oh my God, and those are the kind of clowns that scare me the most. Like the homemade,
where it's like something
glasses sitting on your white paint.
It's like I'm just gonna put on glasses now.
I bet you were good at it though.
I think I was. Because it's a lot of improv, really.
Yeah, it's a lot of physical
and like that
stuff.
Picture, we were in a parade.
Oh, I love that.
So we were like throwing candy and like interacting with children along the route.
I love that.
Yeah, I think it was a 4th of July parade.
Were you making kids cry?
None that I saw, but probably. I mean, that was the age of it.
Oh, yeah.
Like when we were doing that, it would have been. But anyway.
Oh my God, I love that.
Awesome. Well, more cringe to come. Don't worry. Whether it's just even on our normal episodes. More cringe, more YouTube to come.
Facts.
And we are going to stick around for bonus episodes. So make sure you check us out on Patreon if you haven't already.
Oh,
you forgot.
We forgot merch, everyone. We have merch.
We have the merch. And the website. So
and we have a website.
generationinbetween.com.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to see the merch, click on store. And that's where it is.
I think they probably
Dear Xennials, here's how websites work.
Katie
type this. Well, the only reason I was so specific is because when you told me it was up, I was looking for merch.
Oh.
And then I was like, store. That's it.
Oh, well, we can rename it.
I guess we could, but now I told them it's store.
I still think they'd be able to figure it out.
Oh my goodness. Well, it might be merch, it might be store, depending when you look.
Whatever, but we've got all kinds of things, and our patrons, y'all are gonna get something special.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send that message to y'all today.
Mm-hmm.
So hooray! And if y'all would like a little special gift, then come join our Patreon. And you'll get bonus episodes, and every now and then we get our act together. You get a little gift, a little present,
a little fun. So awesome. Thanks for listening to Generation in Between. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. YouTube.